Hell yeah, I almost had a tan after COVID. It's so bright. Good? Good day, everybody, and thank you for joining us. My friends, we understand the concerns many have about the rising cost of living in this province, the country, and indeed around the world. This has been brought on by many factors outside of our control. Mainly, of course, the world is reopening after a global pandemic and lockdown. And of course, the terrible invasion of Ukraine. We see it every day in local, national, and international news. Record high fuel prices around the world. Refugees fleeing Ukraine. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians welcoming them with open arms. Your government may not be able to control the international markets, but we are finding ways and focused on finding ways to help with the stress and strain and financial challenges that you face as we watch the price of everything really rise. As we have always said, we are listening. We are working on evidence-based, responsible, and prudent solutions to impact you and your families. That's precisely what we did in Budget 2022, thanks to the leadership of my friend, Minister Cody. She presented $142 million in investments to help make life more affordable for families in our province and to save you money. Thousands of dollars a year on childcare, hundreds of dollars a year by cutting motor vehicle registration, and by eliminating the sales tax on home insurance. Not to mention the $2,400 a year, year after year, your government is saving you on power bills. And we have continued working with you, hearing you, listening, and now we are acting further. As a result, today we are announcing temporary and targeted measures to help Newfoundlanders and Labradorians with the high cost of living. These include a temporary 50% reduction of the provincial tax on gas and diesel to reduce the price at the pumps by 8 cents a litre, and a one-time home heating supplement for furnace oil. We are also making a commitment to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour in October 2023, based on the recommendations of the Minimum Wage Review Committee. That said, incremental increases will start this fall, ahead of schedule. To support the smaller employers in our province with that change, our government is providing a one-year transitional support program of approximately $5 million. And thank you to my friend Minister Davis for his work in completing this issue. Today's measures, valued at $80 million, are in addition to the $142 million we announced in Budget 2022 to help our residents with the cost of living, bringing the total value of government support to nearly $250 million, not including the $500 million we already spend to mitigate rates. That, of course, is a small piece of the almost $9 billion our government spends each year to provide critical support and services to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. For a province that can arguably least afford to help residents with these external pressures that are affecting the global economy, we are doing the most to help across the country. That's because your government recognizes the unique challenges here in Newfoundland and Labrador, compounded, of course, by our geography. Over the past few weeks, I have had many discussions with my federal colleagues about the inflationary pressures that are impacting people throughout the country, and in particular, the people of our province. And just last week, the Prime Minister was here, and we had a productive meeting about this, and of course, many other issues as it pertains to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. I appreciate the open dialogue we've always been able to have with our federal colleagues, especially my good friend, Minister Seamus O'Regan, and of course, Minister Hutchings, which have resulted in real progress and deliverables for the people of this province. $5.2 billion partnership with the federal government for rate mitigation, which ensures the cost of electricity bills, your electricity bills, will not double. $320 million to support the provincial oil and gas sector. $10 a day childcare starting in January 2023. And, of course, today, the targeted and temporary measures we are announcing. My friends, I know these are stressful times for many of you and your families. We've been working tirelessly to find ways to add further assistance that are both within our means and are meaningful to you. We remain committed to listening to the people of Newfoundland and Labrador and working to find solutions as we continue to build a brighter, sustainable future for all of Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you for joining. I now invite Minister Cody to add specifics about today's announcement. Minister?
Thank you, Premier, and good day, everyone. As the Premier said, these are difficult and challenging times. The substantial increases in the cost of gasoline and home heating fuel are due to the high global oil prices and the devastating war in the Ukraine. Increased food and pandemic-related supply shortages are also increasing the cost of living. As Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada said recently, quote, "We're living in extraordinary times. A pandemic and a European war has caused enormous economic upheaval. Rising inflation is causing pain to consumers in many countries. All Canadians feel the cost of this high inflation," unquote. This is a serious and difficult situation that is impacting the people around the world and right here at home. Those most vulnerable have been tremendously impacted. Here at home, we provide hundreds of millions of dollars each year to support lower-income residents, including $217 million on income support payments, $73 million on income supplement, and $61 million on the seniors benefit. During these extraordinary times, this isn't enough for those most vulnerable, and help is needed for all families. And that's why in Budget 2022, we provided an additional $142 million to help the residents of this province with the cost of living, essentially returning the full amount of revenue forecast in provincial gas tax in 22-23. To further address the continuing rise in the cost of living and help for those who heat their homes with oil, today we're announcing two further temporary and targeted measures at an estimated cost of $75 million. These measures are designed to help put money in your pocket where it is needed most. Today we announce the temporary lowering of the provincial tax on gasoline and diesel by 7 cents per litre until January 1st of 2023. This will reduce the provincial tax to the lowest in Canada next to Alberta. Overall, this will lower the price at the pump by 8.05 cents per litre, and that includes the HST. Changes in the gasoline tax will be introduced in the House of Assembly and will come into effect upon implementation by the Board of Commissioners of the Public Utilities. In addition, this fall, a one-time payment will be provided to supplement the cost of furnace oil used for home heating. This supplement will be application-based and income tested on family income. Oil-heated households with family net income under $100,000 will receive a one-time payment of $500. Oil-heated households with family net income between $100,000 and $150,000 will receive a partial payment of between $200 and $500. More details on how to apply for this supplement will be coming in the next couple of weeks. Newfoundland and Labrador is taking extraordinary measures to assist people with the increased cost of living, and these measures include short-term measures, the temporary lowering of the provincial tax on gasoline and diesel by 7 cents, a one-time payment in the fall of 22 to supplement the cost of furnace oil used for home heating, elimination of the 15% retail sales tax on home insurance, a 50% reduction in registration fees for passenger vehicles, light-duty trucks, and taxis for 1 year. And in April, we provided an extraordinary payment, a one-time benefit for those receiving income support. Long-term measures include a 10% increase in the income supplement, a 10% increase in the seniors benefit, lower child care costs going down to $10 a day starting in January of '23, an increase in the prenatal infant nutrition supplement, the physical activity tax credit, and expansion of the bus pass program to seniors over age 65 who are receiving the guaranteed income supplement, and youth receiving services from the youth services program. And there are transition measures as well, funding for electric vehicle rebates, as well as funding for home transition from oil to electricity. These cost of living measures, when combined, total an estimate of $222 million. That's the support of your government, and we've done a tremendous amount, and we always wish we could do more. The Premier and your entire government understand the challenges you face, and we hear you when you ask for assistance, and we're here to help as best we can. Thank you. I'll now pass it over to Minister Davis, who has some important news to share regarding the minimum wage.
Thank you, Minister Cody, and thank you, Premier Fury. And good afternoon, everyone. Our government understands the importance of minimum wage rate to minimum wage earners in Newfoundland and Labrador. In January, the Minimum Wage Review Committee was established with a mandate to review the inputs for minimum wage from stakeholders, including employers and employee groups and the public, on the minimum wage adjustment process and the wage rate. It is important to note that the committee was comprised of people with viewpoints from both social and economic backgrounds. The committee has now completed their report and has presented its consensus recommendations. I want to thank the Minimum Wage Committee for their dedicated effort and their contributions to this important work. With that being said, today, as part of the cost of living announcement and to provide assistance, we are announcing 3 increases to minimum wage in our province. On October 1st, the minimum wage rate will increase by 50 cents, bringing it to $13.70. A second increase of 80 cents will come into effect on April 1st, 2023, bringing the rate to $14.50 per hour. On October 1st of next year, a third increase of 50 cents will come into effect, bringing the minimum wage rate to $15 per hour. We understand the importance of a balanced approach as the issue of minimum wage impacts both employee and employers. To this end, the provincial government is also creating a 1-year transitional support program for employers with 20 employees or less. The program will provide 50 cents an hour per minimum wage employee for employers with 20 employees or less for a period of 1 year until October 1st of 2023. The program will be application-based, and further details will follow on the application process in the coming weeks. Workers are currently feeling the effects of substantial increases in the cost of living. Increases in the minimum wage rate at this time will provide much-needed financial support for those individuals. We are continuing to undertake a thorough review of the Minimum Wage Review Committee's final report, which will, by our department officials, and all these recommendations will be under consideration. The Minimum Wage Review Committee's final report will be available online later this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Minister. We'll now invite questions from the media.
My first question was, prior when you talked about lowering the provincial gas tax, you were saying that then Ottawa would potentially up the carbon tax. So what changed for you to make this decision now?
Sure. Well, the conversations that I've had with my federal colleagues over the past several weeks has changed. The federal government recognizes that cost of living is a significant issue facing all Canadians. And this is one measure that we're taking right now to help address that. And I'm confident, subsequent to those conversations, that the backstop will now not be implemented.
What does this mean for your deficit overall?
We're still anticipating the deficit for 22-23 to be $351 million. There will be further updates in the fall. And if we require any additional monies to support this additional announcement today, we could do a special warrant, but we understand that this is an important measure to help the people of the province, and it's important that we do so. But right now, we're holding on our deficit for this year.
So what's the timeline on this, the provincial gas tax being reduced?
So we're going to introduce it into the legislature on Monday, and hopefully we can get it, after, in the legislative agenda, and hopefully we can get it passed as quick as possible.
The $220 million, 222 that you mentioned, is the 142 included in that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and sorry, and could you just give me the dates again, Minister Davis, about the minimum wage increases? October 1370, early next year is the second one, and the third one?
Yes, so it's April 1st every year for harmonisation across Atlantic provinces, and then again in October of 2023. That will bring us to $15 an hour.
Thank you.
It seems like there was a number of announcements that had happened today. There was also a poll that came out today just talking about government's, the public satisfaction in the government, which has gone down. So is there any correlation with, having any of these announcements following this report coming out?
I'm not even aware of the poll, so no, this has been a well thought out, prudent response, I think, that has taken weeks to develop, largely based on the conversations with the federal government, so I'm not no, that's the short answer.
So someone will ask, obviously, the talks with the feds were the key here, I guess, so to reduce the penalty as much as possible. So, is this across the board, across the country? Like, is this something the federal government is relaxing for all provinces, or?
No, I would suggest you talk to the Federal Minister of Environment for further comment on that, but I'm confident in our position right now, as it's not directly related to the carbon tax.
Just to be clear, so for the furnace heating rebate or the one-time supplement, someone who's making $30,000 a year, someone making $100,000 a year, there's no difference. There's no low-income, higher rate.
Anyone under a family income of under 100,000 will receive $500. Anyone above that amount to 150 will receive a phased-out amount. Don't forget, people in those brackets also have received the income supplement increase, and if you're on income support, they would have received an additional amount of money in April of this year.
In regards to the minimum wage, do you have any idea where this puts us now in regards to other provinces? Because we were one of the lower end of the provinces in regards to minimum wage prior to this.
So we were competitive with Atlantic Canada as right now, currently. This will put us tied for second in October, I think, and then I think we lead the pack based on what's been announced so far by the other jurisdictions as of, the October 1st of 2023.
You said you're going to hold the line on the deficit. Where is this money coming from to make up for this?
Well, as you may recall from the budget, we anticipated the average cost of oil to be $86, and we've seen that, of course, much higher over the last few months, and so the difference is helping us in the revenue side of things, and our economy is doing quite well. So right now, it looks like we'll have the revenue, additional revenue, but we may have to go into the House of Assembly in the fall to look for a special warrant, depending on how this year continues to unfold. But at this point in time, we're getting some additional oil royalty revenue because the price of oil is higher than we had predicted on average for the year.
That's it?
That's it?
All right.
Good, thanks everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone.